14-year-old Celie Harris and her younger sister Nettie laugh as they play tag in a field without a care in the world. Their fun is interrupted by the girl's father, who says with obvious displeasure that Celie has the ugliest smile. Winter, 1909. Celie goes into labor. Nettie stays by her older sister's side, helping her through such a difficult moment. A beautiful baby girl is born. The sister's father intends to give the baby up for adoption, no matter how much Celie begs him not to. The man orders his daughters to tell no one the truth, especially not their mother. In truth, Mr. Harris is the baby's father. Celie had already given birth once before, to a son, and he had also been given up for adoption into a preacher's family. Silently, Celie asks God why such trials have fallen to her, when she has always tried to be good. Soon the girl's mother dies. The girls are left in their father's care. Celie worries deeply about her younger sister. They both very much hope that their father will marry, and soon he does. During the wedding ceremony at the church, Celie notices a man recently widowed looking at Nettie. Soon this man, Albert Johnson, asks Mr. Harris for Nettie's hand in marriage. After his wife's death, Albert cannot manage his 3 children on his own, so he needs a wife who would take care of all the household duties. Albert promises to take good care of Nettie. Mr. Harris however suggests that Albert marry Celie instead of Nettie. Mr. Harris says that Celie is ugly and has sinned twice, but at least Albert will be able to treat her however he wants. He is perfectly satisfied with this arrangement, and he takes Celie to his farm, which is next to the Harris families. Albert's children from his previous marriage, especially his son Harpo, do not accept their new mother. The boy even throws a stone at her. Celie behaves obediently, knowing that she is completely at this man's mercy. The place is a terrible mess. It seems that after the previous woman of the house died, no one has done any cleaning. Celie spends the entire day putting things in order, washing piles of dirty dishes, doing laundry, and clearing away trash. But the hardest thing for Celie is dealing with the children. Albert is very cruel and punishes the slightest offense with violence. Spring, 1909. Celie thinks she sees her daughter in town. It seems that the baby is being very well cared for in Reverend Samuel's family. Celie asks the preacher's wife, Corinne, for permission to hold the baby in her arms. Celie's heart tells her that this really is her daughter. When the baby was born, Celie named her Olivia, although her new family almost certainly gave her another name. As casually as she can, Celie asks the preacher's wife what the girl's name is. Corinne smiles and answers that it is Pauline, but they call her Olivia. Celie can barely hold back her emotions. Finally, Nettie visits Celie for the first time. The sisters embrace each other joyfully. Their father had kept Nettie from seeing Celie for a long time. Nettie wants to stay there, at least for a little while. Albert has no objection, saying that Nettie is family now. Later, Nettie tells her sister that she will never go back home because of their father. But life in Albert's house is no better, because from the very first day, he starts complimenting Nettie. His intentions are obvious. The sisters understand that they will soon have to be separated, so they agree to learn how to read and write. That way, they will be able to keep in touch through letters. Day after day, the girls learn to read and write, and they are doing quite well. Albert thinks they are wasting their time on nonsense. For the sisters, however, it is a way to always stay connected. Just as Celie feared, Albert waits until Nettie is alone and tries to take advantage of her, but Nettie manages to fight him off and escape. Furious, the man drives Nettie away, despite Celie's pleas to let her sister stay. Albert does not care what his wife thinks. The sisters cry, promising never to forget each other. Celie is completely dependent on her husband and does everything he tells her to do. Albert is a very cruel man. Celie would like to run away, but she has nowhere to go. The only person who truly loves her is her sister. After receiving a letter from a certain Suge Avery, Albert laughs with delight. He eagerly awaits their meeting. Celie timidly asks whether there have been any letters for her. She is desperately waiting for news from Nettie. Albert orders his wife never to touch the mailbox. Her job is to cook, clean and look after the children. Celie secretly reads books behind her husband's back. Many years pass this way. Celie is now a grown woman, but she still remains a prisoner of her marriage. Albert is in love with Suge Avery. It is the summer of 1916. Celie endures everything, serving Albert like a housemaid. She cannot say a word against him. The woman often thinks of her sister. Nettie promised to write, but she has not written even once. Celie is afraid that Nettie is no longer alive, because she said that only death could stop her. Harpo is in love with a girl named Sophia, who is already pregnant. The couple plans to get married. Albert, however, refuses to approve the marriage, complaining that women these days have completely lost their shame if they are getting pregnant before marriage. Albert also knows that Sophia's father kicked her out of the house, so she is now living with her sister. Sophia is too proud and makes it clear to Albert that she will not tolerate disrespect. In spite of everything, the young couple marries shortly after the baby is born. The young family settles in with the Johnsons. Sophia constantly bosses her husband around. Albert advises Harpo to show his wife who is in charge, otherwise she will never obey him. However, this advice does not help, because Sophia is far too strong-willed. She never lets anyone push her around. In despair, Harpo asks his stepmother what he should do about Sophia. Celie advises him to beat Sophia. In her opinion, that is the only way to establish authority at home. Things get even worse because when Harpo tries to beat her, Sophia leaves a bruise on his face in return. The young man is ashamed, so he lies to his father and says a mule kicked him. When Sophia finds out that it was Celie who advised Harpo to beat his wife, she says she would rather fight back against her own husband than let anyone hurt her. If Celie does not want to see her stepson dead, she should stop giving him such advice. Meanwhile, Harpo keeps trying to explain himself to his father, but Albert still does not believe that the mark was left by a hoof. In her usual quiet voice, Celie says that this life will end sooner or later, and then heaven will be waiting for them. Sophia simply advises Celie to put Albert in his place as soon as possible, instead of enduring cruel treatment her whole life. After that, Sophia starts beating Harpo more and more often, and between fights, they keep having children. One day Sophia finally gets tired of it all. She takes the children and leaves Harpo. Celie continues waiting for a letter from Nettie, but with each passing year, her hope fades. One evening during a violent storm, Celie gets a very bad feeling. That same evening Albert brings his mistress, Suge Avery, into their home. He tells Harpo that she is his future stepmother. Seeing Celie for the first time, Suge laughs in her face and says how ugly she is. Suge has been there for less than an hour, but she already acts like the lady of the house. Albert is ready to satisfy her every whim. Celie cannot say anything against it. In truth, Celie is not even jealous, because she does not love her husband at all. Suge has fallen ill. Albert makes breakfast for her, doing it himself for the first time in his life. But Suge does not like the food, and in a fit of anger she throws the plates at the wall. Albert feels terribly sorry for upsetting her. Celie prepares a lavish breakfast for Suge and leaves the tray outside the door, just so she will not anger this capricious woman. Later, Celie prepares a bath for the unwanted guest. Celie feels no anger at all. Suge says that she has children, but she left them in her parents' care. Celie would give anything to see the two children who were taken from her. One day Albert's father appears on their doorstep. Old Mr. Johnson scolds his son for getting involved with Suge Avery, that fallen woman. All her children have different fathers. But Albert does not want to hear any of it, because he is in love with Suge. Summer, 1922. Harpo and his friend Swain open their own juke joint. To attract customers, Suge Avery performs there. She dances and sings. All the men are thrilled by her. Seeing Celie, some people joke that Albert has brought his maid along. To everyone's surprise, Suge dedicates one of her songs to Celie. After all, it was Celie who took care of Suge when she was ill. Listening to the song, the woman cannot hold back her tears. Sophia also comes to the opening. She already has a new boyfriend, Buster. Harpo has a hard time accepting this. He asks Sophia to dance, which makes his new girlfriend Squeak furious. She even slaps Sophia across the face. That was a very bad idea. Sophia punches Squeak with all her strength. At that moment everyone seems to break loose and starts fighting, wrecking the juke joint, while only Celie remains calm. Suge still often stays with the Johnsons. Celie does not mind at all, at least she is not so lonely. So when Suge is once again about to leave, Celie immediately grows sad. Whenever Suge is away, Albert always treats his wife cruelly. Hearing this, Suge cannot believe it. She knew a completely different side of Albert. Suge does not understand why he does it. Celie simply answers, because she is not Suge. The woman admits that in all the time they have been married, Albert has never once asked about her feelings. Suge is horrified when she realizes that Celie has never truly been loved. She says it is because no one loves her. Suge objects, saying that she loves Celie. And Suge does not think she is ugly at all. She only said that out of jealousy. From then on, Celie follows Suge everywhere. Celie often wonders why this woman, so beautiful and bright, can also be sad. In that, they are alike. Suge's father, a preacher, still refuses to speak to her. All her attempts to mend their relationship lead nowhere. Suge is going to Memphis. Celie is determined to go with her, seeing it as her only chance to escape this prison. She hurriedly packs her things when Albert suddenly appears. The woman is too afraid of her husband to say that she intends to leave. The couple sees Suge off and helps her carry her suitcases. Suge can tell from Celie's face that she wants to say something. Celie only says that she will miss her. The woman remains a prisoner of her own marriage. It seems that life has nothing good left in store for her. On the street, Miss Millie, the mayor's wife, approaches Sophia and offers her a job as their maid. This deeply offends Sophia, and she does not hold back either. When the mayor tries to stand up for his wife, Sophia punches him in the face, enraging the passers-by who witness the scene. Sophia asks the sheriff for help, but he takes the crowd's side. Fall, 1930. Sophia has been in prison all this time. When Sophia is released, she is still forced to become Miss Millie's maid. In effect, one prison has been replaced by another. The mayor has bought his wife a car, so Sophia has to teach Miss Millie how to drive. Celie silently feels deeply sorry for Sophia. She has not seen her children in 8 years. Miss Millie promises her maid that she will take her home for Christmas Day, so she can see her loved ones. All this time Celie has been taking care of Sophia and Harpo's children. They have completely forgotten their mother by now, especially the youngest daughter, Emma. Everyone welcomes Sophia, overjoyed by her return. The woman cries, realizing that by evening she will have to go back to the mayor's house. She barely knows her own children. Miss Millie turns out not to be a very good driver after all. She crashes first into a shed, then into a tree, causing a commotion. Miss Millie screams hysterically and desperately calls for her maid. The mayor's wife is terrified of getting behind the wheel alone. Sophia desperately wants to spend at least a little time with her children, but in the end she has to leave with Miss Millie. Spring, 1936. Celie is just as happy about Suge's return as Albert, maybe even more so. For Albert, it comes as an unpleasant surprise that Suge arrives with a man who introduces himself as Grady. They are married. Suge does not seem to have missed Albert at all, only Celie. Now they are both married women. The men however quickly find common ground. They drink together and laugh all evening. Just when Celie has almost lost hope, she receives a letter from Nettie in Africa. Suge shares this moment with Celie, a moment filled with both joy and tears. It turns out that Nettie has been writing to her sister all these years, but Albert has been hiding the letters. One day Nettie met Reverend Samuel and his wife, Corinne. They were very kind to her. The couple could not have children of their own, so they adopted Olivia and Adam. Nettie made sure that her niece and nephew were being very well cared for in the preacher's family. Reading these lines, Celie feels that this was the only thing she needed. From now on, she can be at peace. The women find all the letters from Nettie that Albert has been hiding for many long years, ever since he married Celie. There are so many of them. Together the women sort the letters by date. Celie reads them all evening. Nettie wrote that she went to Africa with the preacher's family to look after the children. Celie is happy to know that her children are in safe hands. From now on, Celie refuses to obey her despotic husband's every word. Day after day, Celie reads Nettie's letters, in which she tells her about her life in Africa. There, Nettie is free and happy. But everything falls apart when people from the West arrive to build roads. Nettie wrote in one of her letters that their school, their church, and even their hut were torn down. Unable to bear the grief, Corinne died of a fever. Nettie promises to return to the United States as soon as they sort out all the paperwork. Feeling that he is losing control over his wife, Albert tries as usual to solve the problem with his fists. He demands that Celie shave him. She is already on the edge and grips the razor in her hands, intending to end her husband's life, but Suge stops her in time. Sophia is allowed to return home, but she seems to have lost herself. During a family dinner, Suge announces that she and Grady are leaving and taking Celie with them to Memphis. Albert of course will do everything he can to stop this from happening. Celie declares that she has had enough. The woman intends to reunite with her children and with Nettie. More than anything in the world, Celie hates Albert, who took away the only person who ever loved her, Nettie. Suddenly Sophia starts laughing hysterically. After spending so many years in prison, and then in the mayor's house, she understands just as well as Celie what it is like to want to leave and have no way out. Sophia thanks Celie for everything she has done. At one point Sophia was in such despair that she had almost lost faith, but because of Celie, she understood that God does exist after all. Inspired by these women's example, Squeak wants to go to Memphis with Suge and Celie. Albert, sitting at the head of the table, is shaking with anger. He tells Celie that she is worthless and ugly, and that she will never be able to take care of herself on her own. Suge has talent, but Celie has always been afraid even to speak up in public. In front of everyone at the table, she curses Albert, saying that from now on, everything he tries to do will fall apart until he makes amends. After that, Celie leaves with Suge and Grady. Albert can only watch helplessly, unable to stop his wife. For the first time in her life, Celie is truly free. Even if someone thinks she is ugly or worthless, it no longer matters. Fall, 1937. Just as his ex-wife promised, Albert's life falls apart. There is no Suge in his house anymore, no children, no life. He is completely alone and drinking himself into ruin. Old Mr. Johnson advises his son to marry a meek young woman so she can do all the housework. However, Albert continues to drown his grief and loneliness in alcohol, no matter how hard Harpo tries to pull him out of it. Harpo and Sophia, by the way, are back together. He does not want to repeat his father's fate. Celie attends the funeral of the man she believed was her father. In reality, he was her stepfather. It turns out that Celie's mother married Mr. Harris 2 years after she was widowed. Celie inherits land and a house. This marks the beginning of a new, happy chapter in her life. Soon she opens her own tailoring shop, where she makes pants, including pants for women. Her business quickly takes off. Harpo, Sophia and Suge support Celie in every way. One evening she notices Albert outside the window. He never works up the courage to talk to her. Celie and Suge remain best friends. Sometimes they wonder why Albert cannot let them go completely. He wants them to love him unconditionally, but not everyone deserves that. One way or another, life has set everything right. Suge finally reconciles with her father. An important official letter from the Immigration Service, addressed to Celie, arrives at Albert's address. Over the years of their marriage, Albert has managed to save some money in secret, and for the first time in his life, he decides to do something good, to help the sisters reunite. Maybe this way he can make amends. When Celie sees her children and Nettie after so many years, she can hardly believe her own eyes. They cry with happiness. Celie holds her long-lost children, Adam and Olivia, in a tight embrace. They are all grown up now. Nettie has told her niece and nephew the truth about everything, that their mother never abandoned them. Albert watches the family reunion from afar. He is still alone. For Celie, however, the best is yet to come.